Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today we are going to be checking in for week 1 of February. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm late with this video. I was supposed to film this video over the weekend, but that kind of just didn't happen. I actually ended up going to the dentist because my tooth was hurting so bad. It's actually still hurting and it's giving me a headache. But anyway, okay, let me go ahead and jump right in. I have both of my sheets here from my February budget kit. This is the design one, which is this floral design. These are oops, so they do look a little beat up, like this one here. This one ended up getting pulled through the machines, so it kind of got a little bent up over there, but it's okay. So I am going to go ahead and lay these down. Both of these are missing a thin washi because I did use them to set up my sinking funds spread, which is on this side. And if you guys are new, the planner that I'm using is the Erin Condren monthly planner. I have this in the color blends way, mostly because the monthlies, there's not too much color in there, and also because I really like the colors in the back for the stickers. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down both of the spreads. This one's also a little ripped, but that's okay because after I lay it down, it shouldn't be that noticeable. But for this first week check-in, I am going to do this a little bit faster. I really appreciate you guys so much for the feedback because I was really worried at the beginning for like if I wasn't explaining things enough. But some of you guys do enjoy the explanations and some of you guys do like the normal speed. So I'm going to just kind of do a mixture of both. So for situations like today, for example, since I'm doing 2 of the weekly check-ins, one of them I'll do thoroughly and then the other one I'll do like kind of like the normal speed. So I'll kind of just mix them up like that. And then I think I'll probably just say it at the beginning when that happens. But yeah, so for this one, it's gonna be like a quicker run through of it. I'll still explain some things, of course, but not as thoroughly as I usually do. So for the weekly balance and the weekly check-in, I do only 4 weeks per month, mostly because it's just easier for me to do it that way, along with I have 5 categories, so it actually works out perfectly to just do 4 weeks. My weekly balance is to balance out my checking accounts. Since we are cashless budgeters, we do not use any type of cash. I mean, unless we need to use cash, but I just withdraw it. But if that ever happens, I'll definitely do it on camera with you guys. 2, 4, 5. And everything is electronics. We mostly use our credit card because it just works for us. We like to be able to redeem the 2% cash rewards, as well as it helps us with our credit, because it's always good to have a good credit. 2, 4, 5. So that is what the weekly balance is for. So I'll be doing that on camera with you guys today. And then also for the weekly balance, that is the one that I'm going to be using to balance out our categories, like our day-to-day spending categories, such as groceries, gas, allowance, pups, baby, eating out. And those are the categories that we set up together at the beginning of the month. For these right here, eating out, groceries, gas, allowance, pups. These are our day-to-day spending, so our monthly budget categories. And then down here we have all of our bills and then some of our fixed expenses. If you guys are curious about the spread, I did this with you guys. I think that video went up last week. But yeah, so for this weekly check-in, I actually had a lot of sinking funds that came out. We actually had it unbudgeted because of my tooth problem. I wasn't expecting to have to go to the dentist at all, but it ended up being that I have to get a crown for one of my teeth. The funny thing is, when I went to the dentist, it wasn't even for that specific tooth. It was for a different tooth, and that tooth ended up being fine. So yeah, so we'll talk about how much that was in a second. Health is seriously so expensive, so definitely need to make sure we take care of our health. Week 2, week 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I might as well talk a little bit about ourselves too. So right now it is me, my husband. We have a 4-month-old baby. She's actually turning 5 months old soon. Oh my gosh, she's turning 5 months old on Wednesday. And we have 2 pups. We have a golden retriever and a German shepherd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We currently do not pay for like any childcare or anything. We take care of our daughter by ourselves since we're both lucky enough to be able to work from home. And my job, I'm very lucky to be able to like step away when need be. Of course, it becomes a little stressful at times when it's like busy and stuff because, you know, it's not really professional, but I am lucky to have a manager who understands when I have to go like breastfeed her and stuff. But at the same time, you know, when that happens, you kind of have to work twice as hard to like catch up and everything. But that's kind of what is going on right now. And then as for my husband, he's actually a lot more, his job requires a lot more. Wait, let me actually put these flags down first. What was I saying? But his job requires a lot more of, I guess, like more of his attention. So he's not able to step away as much, but it is okay. Week 3, and I'm just using these flags here because like I have them. And then I only do it for 4 weeks, so that last flag and that last line I'm not going to end up using, so those are going to get set aside. So that is it for that one sheet. And then let's do the weekly check-in. So these tweezers that I have here, I feel like I've been looking for nice tweezers for so long. Nothing really compares to my other blue ones that I use, but those are like the only ones that I have. Cause like those are just so sharp, they're so light as well, and they actually tweeze, like they're really good. I feel like a lot of the tweezers that I've tried so far, they're not as, I don't know, they just don't connect as well. I don't know if you guys can really see that. Like these are really good so far from what I've used so far. But that's the end of the other sheets. Now I'm going to draw my lines real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and did all of my lines for the weekly check-in and the weekly balance. I also filled in for the weeks as well. So for the first week, it's going to be from the 1st to the 4th. And then second week is 5th to the 11th, 12th to the 18th, 19th to the 20th. Oh, last week is going to be 19th to the 28th. I have all of my expenses written down as well. So we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. We are going to go straight to our app for the daily budget. So this is the app that I really like to use to keep track of all of my transactions. And if you guys are curious about the app that I use or about my bank accounts and how they're all hooked up, I will have them linked in a video below going in depth about how they're all hooked up, as well as the apps that I use. But it is the daily budget. If you look up daily budget original, that will pull up this app. But let's go ahead and just scroll down. We are doing, for the first week, is just the 1st to the 4th. So we're going to go and look up the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It looks like we only have one transaction as well. And both of them are for our eating out category, which is that fork and knife to symbolize. And that is this green color. So I'm going to go ahead and lay them down. One of them is on the 1st and the other one is on the 4th. Nothing was spent on the 3rd or the 2nd. So on the 1st, we got a whole bunch of Kit Kats. This is not our first time going either. We went to go get Kit Kats a few times ever since we found out they had like the mini Kit Kats with like a whole bunch of different flavors. Mine by far I think is strawberry and milk tea. Dustin really likes the milk tea, but they're really good. And then we also went to the mall and got like mall food. I know that's like a really odd thing, but like the mall that we went to, they had like those corn dogs, like the fried doughy Korean corn dogs with mozzarella inside. They're so good. And then we also got teriyaki, some boba, some random foods there. But that was actually it for the first week. And let me go ahead and put down these none spent stickers. I'm just gonna lay down 2 of them. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just check them in as well. Now to check them in, we are going to use our weekly check-in spread. This is the one mainly to just check in those categories that we check in for a monthly view. And these are our everyday expenses, our day-to-days, which are these 5. And I always say, I feel like I say this in every video, if we did use cash, these would be our cash envelopes, but we just really much prefer to just use credit card for everything. So you have eating out, groceries, gas, allowance, and then we have pups and baby, or pups and bean. We didn't have any rollover expenses. We never really roll over. I don't know if it'll be a little bit different in the future, but for right now, I guess because like we're really trying to save this year, we're not doing any rollover. So for spent, as we know, we only have 2 transactions, and both of them are from our eating out category. So let's just add those up together. We have 47 plus 20, that is $67, and that was it for the first week. So we have $67 spent, and then we have nothing spent for the remaining categories. So we already know for the other categories, we'll do those first. 400 for groceries, nothing spent, so we still have 400 for groceries. Allowance, and the rest of them are 100. So gas, allowance, pups, and beans, starting amounts are all $100. Nothing was spent, so that means the remaining for all of them is still just $100 for all of them. And then for eating out, we had a starting amount of 300. So 300 minus the 67 means we have a remaining amount of $233 for the remaining weeks. Now, that was actually really fast, so let's go ahead and check in for a weekly balance. For a weekly balance, we have 3 categories. So we have our monthly budget categories, or our day-to-day categories, which are the ones that we just checked in for. All of these categories equates to this lump sum of monthly budget categories. Then we have our bills, our bill money, and we have sinking funds. And then the sinking funds is a lump sum of all of these categories that are broken down. And then our bills category is our funds for all of our bills for variable and fixed. So everything is broken down quite a bit. So all 3 of these categories, they are all held. It seems like I'm already explaining this video, so I guess we'll just go with it. But all of 3 of these categories are held in our second checking account, and these are the only funds in our second checking account. So the last time we checked in, I think that was for our February budget. I think it was a February budget that we did this together, but these were the previous funds. But as usually, I'm going to go through what the funds are currently in our account, but we'll talk about that in a second. What we started with, though, is what we ended up budgeting for. So for monthly budget, which are our day-to-day expenses, these ones here, it was $1,000 that we started with. $1,000. Then for our bills, which is this section below, which is all of our variable expenses and all of our fixed expenses, the total combined is $31.50 for all of our bills. So that is what we started with, $31.50. And then for sinking funds, we did add $1,000 to our sinking funds, but we already had a starting amount that we ended with last month. So $3,985 plus the $1,000 that we spent equals a starting amount of $4,985 because we added $1,000 in addition to what we ended with last month. Since these sinking funds are kind of like small little savings accounts, so every single month we just add to it, and whenever we don't use, we're able to keep accumulating as the months go on. So now to actually check this in. Oh, first let me actually add this together. So we have the 1,000 plus the 31.50 plus the 49.85 equals 91.35. I feel like on camera this 8 looks not like an 8. So I'm gonna fix that. Okay, that's a little bit better. So this is what our total is. Adding them all up together is the $91.35. So now let's go ahead and do the calculations. So for monthly budget, what did we just spend? We only spent $67 out of everything. So let's go ahead and put 67. And then that minus 1,000 means we still have a remaining amount of $933 in all of those categories for the remainder of the month. Next is bills. Actually, let's do sinking funds. So sinking funds we're checking in from the 1st to the 4th, and from our app as well, I check those in here usually, but nothing was spent from the 1st to the 4th. Everything else was in the following week. So I'm gonna go ahead and put, well, I'll just put a dash for 0. So since nothing was spent, there's still $4,985 remaining. Then for bills. So for bills, let's see if anything came out from the 1st to the 4th. So we have these categories below. I'm gonna go ahead and check our checking account that holds those funds to see if any bills automatically got taken out. And I'm also going to check for our credit card to see if any bills came out either. So the credit card ones are the ones that have a C right next to it. All right, so these are all the bills that came out for that week, and all of them actually came out of our checking account. The only ones that come out of our credit card are the ones with the C's, so those, nothing came out yet. So all of these ones already came out of our checking account. So we're gonna go ahead and add all of them together. Mobile was $174.77. So we have a mobile $174.77 plus $180.06 plus $180.31 plus $80.66. That's an 80. $80.66 equals $615.80 that came out of our bills. So I like to just mark those that they came out. That is $615.80 for bills. All of them already came out of our checking account. That number minus $31.50 means we have a leftover amount of $2,534.20. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the transfers. So the reason why we have to do transfers is because we usually pay with everything with our credit card. So that means we still have the physical cash inside of our checking account. So this checking account is what usually holds the funds for all 3 categories. So we have the monthly budget, bills, and sinking funds. So the monthly budget was $1,000, monthly budget $1,000, bills $31.50, sinking funds $49.85. So the total of this is $91.35. The reason why you see that when we last checked in this together, it's a $50 difference. I already transferred that $50 over to our primary checking because we have calculated that $50 of our budget would be transferred to our savings account. So that's already transferred out. So that's not the real number anymore. But that's why there is a $50 difference. But this is what holds all of the funds in here. So we are going to go ahead and transfer $67 only from our second checking account to our primary, because this is the only one that was paid with credit card and we still have the funds. For bills, this whole entire amount, as we saw together, all of those came out of our checking account. They did not come out of our credit card, because of course if it comes out of our credit card we still have the money, but since this all came out of our checking account already, they already took the money out of the account, so we no longer have that money in that account. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer $67 over from our second checking account to our primary, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I already transferred that $67. Now let's actually go ahead and see what the real numbers are for this. I don't really feel like changing out the stickers, so I'm just going to cross them out like this. But right now in our second checking account, we have $8,452.20. And then for short-term savings, we have $3,088.02. All right, so let's talk about these numbers. So last time we left off for our short-term savings, we had $1,788.02. Now we have $3,088.02. The reason why is because we got another one of our paychecks for our variable income. We got our second paycheck, so that's why that's another $1,300 more, because for both me and my husband, whenever we get paid, we transfer $1,300 immediately to our short-term savings, so we have the funds ready for the following month, since we are a month ahead for our budget. But that's just going to sit there. It's going to sit there until the beginning of it's February, so it's going to sit there until the beginning of March for our March budget. So that's just a check-in for that part. Now, talking about this account, the total in here is $8,452.20. Let's actually count this up to see if that matches. So we have 933 plus $2,534.20 plus 4985. That equals to $8,425.20. So that matches perfectly. All right, so we are looking good. And if you wanted to double check it a different way, you definitely could. So we had our starting amount, $91.35. That minus the 67 minus the $615.80. That also equals to this amount. So that's another way to double check as well. And we can also do it this way. We had the starting amount of $91.85. That minus the $50 we transferred to Ally, minus the 67 minus the 615.20 equals, oh, I put 20 minus 86.6. Whoops. I put 20 cents instead of 80 cents, but minus the 80 cents as well equals the same amount too. So we are looking good for this new balance. So I'm going to go ahead and end this week with these amounts, and we will continue next week with that amount. So technically that normally is the end of this budget, of this weekly check-in, but we are going to go to our Savopoly enroll for Savopoly as well. I am going to put all of the rolls for February in one line because I'm not going to have enough lines for the whole month if I do it any other way. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to put Feb. And we're going to go ahead and roll. I'll probably have to white this out every time we do roll, but let's go ahead and go into this. So we're going to go ahead and use our little dice app. This is like a free app that I just got from the App Store. You can choose how many dice you roll as well. And also, now that I see doubles, whenever I roll doubles, I'm going to try to remember to save double the amount that I land on as well. This idea actually came from one of you guys, from Cass. So let's see how that goes. Now that I am spending so much for medical bills this month, let's see how that goes. But I mean, the goal of the game is to save as much as we can this year, so we're gonna really push it. Okay, I'm gonna roll 3 times as usually. The first roll is 9. So our little dot is down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Roll and save that amount. So I'm gonna roll. This is 9. So our first roll, we are saving $9 plus, let's go ahead and roll again. 2, double digit. All right, that means we're gonna save double what we land on. So 1, 2, $16. So 16, we are gonna save double that amount. So 16 plus an additional 16, since we're saving it twice, equals $41. That's our second roll. Now we're rolling one more time. This is 3. We have 1, 2, 3 for chest. So for chest, since we're not really like using the rewards for this, like collect or treat yourself, we're gonna just save instead. So instead of rolling dice to treat ourselves to that amount, I'm going to roll dice and save that amount. So we're going to roll and save an additional $5. So that plus 5 equals $46 that we are saving for this first week. So we have week 1, and this is 46. Where should I put this? Should I put this in here? I guess we'll just leave that here for now. So let's see how that goes. At the end of the month is when I'll add up all the weeks together. Let's just see how that goes, because I know my Savopoly has been all over the place because I've never done this before. I introduced Savopoly to my budget this year, so I've kind of just been trying to figure out what works best, and it's kind of been a little bit of a fail, but we'll get there. So let's just see how this goes for February just by doing it week by week. And then at the end of the month, when we do our results, we'll go ahead and figure out which account to take the funds out of. But at least we rolled for this week. All of the stickers that you guys see in here are from my shop. This is not out yet, but I am mostly I'm hoping to be able to release this by this releases that should be coming out this week. I've been slacking, guys. I just have to find some tokens because I really wanted to see if I can try to add some tokens on here. You have little tokens to choose from. I don't know. Okay, I'm getting off topic, but yeah. So that is actually going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys did enjoy it nonetheless. And yeah, hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye!